Uh-oh.
I'm back. I had to switch stuff. Okay.
You're up, Mark.
I'm Mark. I play everyone's favorite Wanty Warlock, Simon Salazar, who probably should be dead several times over by now. I'm very surprised that he's still alive, and definitely hated and did not trust those little devils in the desert.
I am Jay. I play the classical Victor McCoy, human gunslinger, and I just want to take credit for Simon never dying.
That's probably more or less true in a lot
Or
of ways.
blame could be another word for that.
Every once in a while, somebody asks me about the party, and it'll be people who know the players outside of the game. And when I tell them that the voice of reason is Jay, they very rarely believe that. And I'm like, that should tell you what he's dealing with.
Yeah.
So, okay, last time the party met a pair of ghostly gnome shopkeepers who were each other's patrons and offered them pretty much anything they desired at various bizarre prices, such as their life, their dreams, their memories, their hopes, their senses, their spell slots, all sorts of random shit was on the table. The party, in general, avoided almost any of these deals, except for Five Gal, who, as he's already mentioned, fixed his curse, which turned out to be a blessing. And he is now, instead of a bucket, he is a ghost. And that means there's some changes to how he's going to be, but he appears as a spectral human instead of a bucket, which is its own level of bizarre. So before we jump all the way into things, Simon, you have been, ever since they tried to probe your mind, the shopkeepers, your patron has been sort of tapped in and watching and trying to understand what's going on. And you get a strong sense of pride and happiness with the way everything has gone from him. He seems very happy. And he's probably going to do something about that, but you're not sure quite what it is yet. For the first time since being in the shop, the party looks around, having just watched everything fade away as you walked off, and you notice Juniper doesn't seem to be with you guys anymore.
Where did your lady friend go, Victor? I was pretty thirsty, and
Yeah,
she
did
has
have
the water.
Did they kidnap her?
Probably.
They
I
did seem
definitely
kinda creepy.
I told you they
would
were
probably
evil.
kidnap women.
I told you they were evil, and nobody listened to me, and I blame you and the bucket, who I guess now isn't a bucket anymore. That's unfortunate.
You're showing a lot of emotion for someone who has called her the wrong name and put her down pretty much the entirety.
Well, that's her
of the
fault.
time.
She wouldn't tell me her name, and also I don't really as much care about her as much as the water.
Now that she's not around, do you want to know her real name?
I mean, if she's not around, it doesn't matter, right?
Oh, it's Jasmine, but all right.
Oh, like cool.
Yeah.
I don't have any reference for the name
clothes?
Jasmine.
How do you make more, or how do you deal with the fact that you're a naked ghost right now?
Yeah, and I want to.
You don't have any way to deal with that right now.
Was he like that superhero that's just constantly hanging dong?
Right now, yeah.
Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan.
You're just sort of glowing white ethereal dong, and you're just sort of standing there
I'm gonna have one of the buckets just hanging over my crotch.
Is he at least a handsome human?
You know what? Roll me a D100 really quick. Let's find out how handsome you are, Five Gal.
11.
Damn it.
He is not an attractive looking dude.
Am I supposed to search for a picture of an ugly human ghost to put on the stream?
I guess that explains why they turned you to a bucket.
It was an improvement.
Yeah, it really was a blessing to be a bucket. Do we need to look for this lady, or she'll just, like, she's got it under control, you think? She's pretty powerful
She
sometimes.
could probably kick pretty much most people I know's asses. But those people magically were pretty powerful.
Maybe she made, like, she was on the outside of that stupid wall they threw up because they were blocking my truth with me, but maybe she, like, last minute made some kind of deal with them and she's trading her hit points or whatever nonsense they offered. You ever know with her, she brought in some random man and that was her cousin, I guess, and then let him die, so it's like anything could happen.
Didn't
I
they
kind of let
say
him die
they could
too.
take us someplace? Maybe
Yeah,
she just bailed.
they did
Maybe.
say that they could take us wherever we wanted, but I don't really want to like. Those zombies were pretty scary.
She might have had some place to go.
Maybe. I guess. I mean, we could like. I don't even know how to search for someone who can just teleport.
Yeah, it's
You
pretty
know, so-
difficult.
We should probably start headed towards that tower though,
I mean,
Sure.
maybe
instead of dying here in the desert, because she did have all our water.
Well, I don't need that.
because you're a
Well-
ghost now, which was a strange choice.
At about this time, two things occur simultaneously. I guess I need everybody to roll me a perception check.
8.
God.
15.
6.
Okay, Simon, two things happen to you simultaneously. In the distance, you see what appears to be a ship coming up from behind you, aimed towards the tower, gliding across the top of the sand. It has large tan sails and seems to be a low to the ground platform, but it definitely looks like some sort of ship that's floating.
This is, you guys, this is a really weird, this is not the right kind of desert. There's a ship over there. I didn't know that ships could be on the sand. I guess I didn't know toboggans could be on the sand either. Do you think we should, like, hide from it, or?
Where would you like to hide? Would you like to hide next to that pile of sand,
Or just,
that
like,
pile of sand?
we could dig a
Bury
trench.
yourself in sand.
Yeah, see?
Here,
This
you
ghost
use my
knows what's
buckets.
going on.
Are those buckets usable, or are they ghost buckets?
I don't know.
I'm gonna try to touch one of the buckets.
You get a distinct sense that you can fill them with ghost water and other ghost materials, but not anything that's normal.
Do you got any ghost sand?
No. I'm gonna try to scoop up the sand.
You can get sand in your hands. It does. You definitely seem to feel like some of it is falling through your hand slowly, but it's not all like immediately through it.
Okay, this seems like the ship is coming, and none of this is helping. So are we just gonna be seen by the ship? I could shout out to them if we're not worried about a ship on the sand.
I mean, we are borderline like in a survival situation, so being rescued is like one of the first things you're supposed to do, right?
Right, but they could be as evil as those gnomes.
Well, something tells me that they could only be eviler than those gnomes, realistically, because they did give us pretty nice stuff, and they were I mean, the nap I took was amazing.
Yeah, they just wanted your actual life in exchange, so that seems not evil at all.
Well,
It was half.
Yeah.
little column A, little column B, as they say.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cast invisibility on myself using my last
As you
spell.
go to cast invisibility, your patron speaks into your, I guess, soul, more or less. And he has, I guess, invigorated you with a boon. This boon is to be some sort of familiar. But in order to receive it, you need to chop one of your fingers off.
Okay, I do it. I trust
You do
your
that
mind,
right
Chess.
then?
Yeah.
The moment you chop your finger off, a glowing green pillar shoots into the sky. And where your finger, you had your finger in your hand, and it begins to float up the pillar. And just as it gets out of sight into the way into the air, it begins to come back down. But now it seems to be moving, and you notice that your finger has begun to elongate and stretch. A pair of leathery wings form out of it, and slowly your finger turns into a snake that has two large leathery wings, fangs that shine a vibrant green, and it's spiraling down towards you. You know intrinsically, just from your patron's gift, that this is called a Ketz, and it is your new familiar. So I'm going to send you the stats on Slack, and you can use its abilities or not use them as you choose. But essentially, as it floats down this giant pillar of green light to you, it begins to flap its wings and hover next to you. The ship, for that matter, has made a direct beeline for the giant green column of light that you have emitted. So
it looks like I did
it's-
it. They're gonna come and rescue us, Victor. That's what we wanted, right?
You just
I
had
just-
to turn your finger into a weird little snake thing.
Yeah, I thought you
I-
liked snakes for what, and also you're a ghost, so
Well, 5 Gal, I think our companion is the spawn of the devil.
I mean, you didn't have a problem with those gnomes that were obviously the same. So
They were just dead.
Did you just chop your finger off?
He did.
yeah, what's wrong with that? You've never done that?
Look at my hands. No.
Well,
So if you chop your finger off, will it turn into a bright light? And
I could try it.
you're-
You want me to do that, Victor? Maybe that'll happen to you too.
Well, given that I like all my fingers and I need them to shoot my guns, I think I will keep all of them.
That's fine, I guess. Pretty selfish, but it could help the party out.
And I'm
Whatever.
not really interested in your spawn of hell creatures.
his familiar hisses at you from over his shoulder. You just hear,
He doesn't
What's
like
his
you any
name?
more than I do, Victor.
Oh, as long as we're all on the same page.
Does he already have a name?
no.
Oh.
It is a Ketz, but it can be named whatever you want it to be named.
call him Pinky.
Yep. His name is Pinky, the snake.
It seems to mull the name over and then nod vigorously. As the ship gets closer, you begin to make out figures on it. It's probably 30 seconds, a minute off at most. And there's a knoll captain with a large hat, as well as a crew of, it appears to be other knolls pulling up. And they're eyeballing you guys pretty intensely. The ship slowly starts to, I guess it starts to drop speed as the sails are drooped, and then a giant set of anchors goes off either side and begins to just kick up tons of sand and dirt and shit before it finally comes to a stop, maybe 20 yards away from you, and a ramp gets kicked off the side down, and you see the captain at the top of the ramp. Says, "Hail, friends!
Hail.
What be you, your business in the desert?"
Surviving?
I presumed you were out here looking for artifacts, or maybe hunting prey, or looking for those devious, ghostly merchants that show up out here.
Oh, don't worry about them. We scared those little devils off.
Ah, well, that's a real bummer. I had some booty I planned to trade with them.
You could
Oh
trade
well,
it with us.
we already like bought and traded with them, so they're gone. Is more what I meant.
Oh, well, do you have any allegiance to any kings, queens, powers that be?
No.
He looks at the other two, the ghost and the snake person, and he says, "That goes for all of you."
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, no.
what? Who are you
I
with?
don't know.
Who do you have allegiance to? Is your name still 5 Gal? Like you're not 5 gallons of a human.
How do
It
you
could
know?
be. It could be 5 gallons of a human.
That's
I bet I
like
can fit into a 5-gallon bucket.
that's probably just like legs. You can't put a whole human in a 5 gallon bucket.
Have you
Well,
ever
I'm
tried?
a ghost now.
But I think there's no allegiances. We don't know anyone here, so unless you mean like religious allegiances, but not to like a king or anything.
The captain strokes and goes, "Well, I'd best introduce myself then. I'm Captain Bone Chewer. Me and my crew here are, we're corsairs, I suppose would be the most appropriate term. Privateers, really, working for the country of Larynx down to the south. We come up here and do the bidding of our country, and we're real patriots going around and helping best we can. So unless you are beholden to this piss poor shithole of a desert, what would you think about maybe helping me with a little job I've got coming up?"
One thing
We're
I can
short-handed.
say for sure is if you give us some water, some food, and get us out of this fucking desert once in a while, we're probably on board.
And he says, "Okay, well, I just need to hear you take the privateer's vow. Just repeat after me.
Okay.
I, as an individual."
I, as an individual,
Are we all have to say it?
He's looking, waiting for the other two.
Oh, it doesn't matter if one of us is a ghost.
He goes, "That's not part of the statement. I need you to repeat after me."
Oh, I as an individual.
I don't want to be a prostitute.
No, a privateer.
You said courtesant or something.
Corsair.
Yeah, those
It's
the
another
ladies.
term for privateer, and certainly not pirate, because that's not what we are. We're state sponsored.
Okay. I don't know. What am I supposed to say?
I, as an individual,
I, as an individual,
hereby solemnly swear
hereby solemnly swear
hereby solemnly swear.
I hereby solemnly swear.
not to do any damage to the ruling lands of Larynx, and to support Captain Bone Chewer in his crusade of peace and tranquility as he defines them.
Not to do any
Not to do any
lyrics,
damage.
and Captain,
As he divides them.
what have you.
Yeah.
He's like, close enough. Come on board. As you come up the ramp, you see there are 3 more gnolls and a furbolg. The furbolg appears to be working at some sort of makeshift counter, chopping up vegetables of some kind. There's a few barrels of crystal clear water with some cups available to dip and get drinks. And then the other 3 gnolls are running around getting the sails back up. 2 of them pull the ramp up, and the captain turns and goes, well, as you may or may not be aware, I've been in this country for about 9 months now, and I'm coming to the end of my vacation, let's say. So in that time, I've lost a fair amount of my crew, but I still have 2 jobs left. I need to hit, and then he points at that tower in the distance. He goes, I need to hit that coastal town of Saltrain, and then I have to swing down south and hit Palm Grove before I head across the sea and go back to the most greatest country on this earth, Larynx.
So about that, you're saying there's a country across... Actually, would I know about these countries before I am confused?
You know, you saw that map that the Dark Elf had.
Oh, right.
You didn't keep the map because he
Right.
fucked off because you guys didn't interact with him in the slide, even though he had all the information.
This guy was a jackass, but yeah.
Kind of a crybaby, as I recall.
Yeah.
You guys looked at it for a moment, so you know that there were other places.
Okay.
But as far as you were concerned, it could have all been shitty desert, or those could have been unexplored. You have no concept of what they are, but you know that there are other places.
And what type of place is this lyrics or whatever?
Larynx?
Larynx, yeah.
Larynx is it's a nice place. I would say it's got open plains,
Right.
tall, gorgeous cliffs next to the ocean, and as you move farther inland, you get into the grasslands and some of the more forested part of the world.
But no deserts, right?
No. There's no deserts there.
Good, because this is my first time in one, and I gotta say I'm pretty sick of it already.
I believe that. I'd be sick of it as well.
Kind of an unintentional desert vacation we took, but it's okay.
So, one more question before you, because I'm totally down to go and pillage or whatever it is you actually do under a state contract. Sorry,
pillage would be a very inappropriate term.
Sure, right, because state contract, right?
Yeah, state sponsored.
State sponsored. How many countries are you aware of? Like, is this it? Is this what you know about this place? And what is the world size to you?
Oh, well, I've been a pirate for 34 years. I'm privateer, not a pirate. That's long behind me. I don't do that anymore.
Corsair.
Yeah, Corsair. So there's this shithole of a desert, Eorsha, which is
Eorsha, okay.
also known as just Goblin Lands. This is where the hobgoblins and the goblins congregate.
Okay.
There's Larynx, which is the Gnoll capital of the world. That's where I'm from.
All right.
You've got Ilum and Genjum and Tridinum. There's Trachea, Metatarsal, Talia, Langis, and Plantis, all scattered across the world below this dreaded world spine.
Have you ever been above the world spine? Have you ever been to Thrasis or anything above there?
What are you talking about above the world spine? There is no above the world spine.
You've never been above Eorsha before?
Above the world spine is where they trapped the betrayer and his evil minions.
Right. You know that. Trust me, there's evil minions up there. I went up there once on accident. I'm not from there. You know.
You
So,
crossed the world spine.
I looked at it. I didn't cross. You know, I had some binoculars top of the mountain. Just looked over there. It was just nothing but massacres on that side. You know.
He looks and he's like, "Oh, I get it. Your friend here," and he points to the ghost and he goes, "Lost his life trying to cross the world spine." And he leans in.
Actually, I was a bucket.
And he's like,
Well, you.
"I get that you don't want his sacrifice to be in vain, so I'll play along. But don't try and fool me about going across the world spine.
How
It'd be
bad?
folly."
How bad do you think it would be if, like, hypothetically, the world spine fell and didn't exist anymore? Would that be weird?
Well, you know, they say that the Dark Lord Thrasus is up there, and he's got his evil minions. They trapped all of his army of necromancers and devil worshippers, and all of them up there. And I would hesitate to even try and picture a world where he had been ruling it for 10,000 years, or however long it's been since the world spine stopped his progress.
Yeah, I would have a hard time imagining it as well. Let's probably change the subject now that I got a pretty good understanding of what's going on
I
around
have
what
no
you're doing.
idea what's going on.
You'll get used to that from him. I wouldn't really worry about it.
The ship has continued to move now that the sails are full blown, and it feels actually pretty smooth. It seems to hover over the ground, but it is very much just sort of some sort of enchanted ship. As you look around, you hear the crew talking. You get some just some of the names. Just the first mate is known as Lift Peg. There's Scar Sniffle and Snot Waffle, their parent Knoll brothers on the crew. And then there's the Furbolg cook, Ruskell. And they're all there just doing stuff. The actual ship itself is known as the Buried Bone. And you're making your way towards the town of Salt Rain. The captain is keen on enlisting your help as they go in to retrieve some goods from Salt Rain.
I'm gonna ask the captain real quick if he has like a workshop of any sort.
I'm gonna look for a bed. I need to rest. I'm still doing bad with health.
Okay. He takes you guys downstairs. There's a crew quarters with a whole bunch of beds and all that. A bunch of them are open that you can just hop into one of them. There's also not necessarily a workshop area, but just sort of a free area. It looks like they do things here like repair the magic sigils that keep the ship floating. They mix gunpowder and stuff down here for some of the cannons. They have some various things, but they have a lot of tools and they have anvils. They have workstations. So
I just want to make some ammo for sure, regular ammo, because I've got the ethereal ammo or whatever.
Yeah, ethereal ammo.
But I want some regular ammo. So I'm just gonna spend some time doing that.
Okay.
I'm gonna practice walking through walls.
Okay. You find as you practice walking through walls that at a rate of 5 feet per turn, you can move through. If you have 30 feet of movement available, you can move through 5 feet of solid matter.
All right.
Then you could just hide in a wall if you wanted from someone, if the wall was thick enough.
You could. There might be downsides to that, but you could do it.
That's fine.
So, you guys are on the ship. It's headed towards this very large tower in the coastal city of Salt Rain. We'll say you guys rest, and when you wake up, I guess, are you guys going straight up to talk to the captain, get more details, or did you want to explore the ship? What were your thoughts?
I was gonna snoop.
I wasn't gonna take like a nap or anything because I got that insane sleep. I was just gonna make bullets and tinker and stuff.
Okay.
Really.
You go ahead and get through. You've got a lot of materials and stuff. We'll say you make like 50 rounds.
Okay.
And some significant progress on developing some new things for your gun in the future.
Okay.
Snoop. Where are you snooping at? What are you looking for? Who are you talking to?
Oh, I wasn't gonna talk to anyone. I was just gonna start poking my head through walls and see if I could get through a chest or two.
The first few walls you poke your head through, there's nothing too crazy. There's a lot of rations. There's food. There's salted meats and things. There's one whole room full of liquids. So it's not just water, but there's ales and there's some teas and things like that. You peek into one, and it seems to be some sort of armory full of various magical objects and masterwork items that have probably been confiscated in their privateering. This was a pretty sealed off room, but you can peek your head in without any problems. And then the fourth room you look in, you catch Snot Waffle just jerking it because he thought he was alone in the cleaning cupboard. And I presume you pull your head back away quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so he doesn't see you. As far as after your snooping, I guess we'll go back to Simon. What are you and Pinky doing? Are you just sleeping or?
Yeah, I'm probably sleeping. I would need my full rest because I don't have any. I have one spell slot left, and I'm like 60 points down on HP.
Okay, Pinky is curled up on your chest. He uses his wings to create a little tent around himself, and pretty much just hunkers down in that and sleeps just right there on top of you.
Oh, I love him.
Pinky. Such a good name. Canonically, your Pinky is what you chopped off now, by the way.
Yeah.
So after you guys rest, you wake up and you hear the captain calling for a ship meeting. And pretty quickly, Scar Sniffle shows up, and he's like, we're having a ship meeting, so
Oh, what's
probably
about? What's the meeting about?
I'm sure it's about our upcoming liberation visit to Salt Rain.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
What are we liberating them from?
Oh, worldly possessions mostly.
Yeah, those things can make it. That can be a real problem. 5 Gout.
I've been on a lot of liberating missions, so I'm pretty prepared.
Oh, good. I'm happy to hear that. So if you'll follow me to the we like to call it the charity room. It used to be known as the war room, but that's wrong connotations. We're privateers. We're state sponsored. I don't know if you've heard. And so he leads you in, and Captain Bone Chewer's standing at the head of the room. Oh, it be our guests. Welcome. So now we've got a bit of an issue here in Salt Rain. After our visit a few months ago, and the visit a few months before that, and the visit a few months before that, they seem to have set up some wards to prevent our ship from getting within 2 miles of the city. So you probably didn't notice earlier, but we very nearly succumbed when we approached, which means I need to send in a team to disable the wards. So there needs to be at least 2 who go in and disable wards. I have another team who needs to adjust the water supply so that they're not so overly reliant
I'll do
on
that.
what they got available.
I'll do that one.
Oh, we were gonna send Ruskell, but if you can handle that, then that'll work for me. And then we need another duo to go to the nearest butcher shop and find us some choice cuts of meat to purchase, as well as maybe directions to where they've moved any new magical weaponry and equipment. You know, normal butcher stuff.
Well, I don't know much about wards, so I don't know if I'm your guy for that, but I could definitely tell you if you need some information on where stuff's located, I think I could probably handle that.
Okay. So I can get I got a volunteer for the locating of the stuff from the butchers.
And I'll take my ghost buddy here with me. He can walk through walls, I presume, so that's probably pretty good too, right?
I don't know anything about meat.
Well, let me worry about the meat. 5 gallons worth of man. Let me worry about that.
And he looks inquisitively at Simon. He goes, "Are you sure you're up for tasks such as, infiltrating a water supply? It can be dicey work sometimes."
Yeah, Cat, I may have done it several times in the past, sometimes with mixed success, but I think I've got a new friend, and he'll probably be able to help too.
I gotta say, if you've ever seen this guy take a shit in a river before, you believe that he contains some water supply.
Don't ask how they've seen that. It's, I don't know. They were stalking me, and at one point, it's just a long story.
You spend enough time with a guy, you know what his shits are like.
He goes, "Okay, well then, Scar Sniffle, Snot Waffle, you 2 have the wards. You disable the wards. Me and Ruskell will man the ship. Our 3 guests here will go into town and handle our other projects. And then, in order to make sure that everyone is aware of how dangerous it would be to get in the way of the oncoming ship, you should probably light a very large, obvious beacon, such as maybe melting the top of that big tower, or just burning the whole thing, or covering it in oil. Something that allows them to see that that's where we're coming, so that they get out of the way."
Okay, sounds
How
good.
do we melt the tower?
I don't know. You'll figure it out probably.
Well, yeah, we'll figure it out, 5 Gal. Don't you worry. One more question. You guys have been here a couple times. Do you have any advice for us newcomers on where to find things quickly? You know, to be as trying to get the job done quick.
Well, it's a heavily Triton population town, so they're quite partial to what we call flake. It's a drug of some sort. It comes in little canisters, and they just shake a little bit out onto their tongues, and they get that flake, and they get all rowdy, and they'll do anything for a little bit of flake. Now, we don't have any flake on board right now, but if you can get in there and you can find some flake, either the fish variety or otherwise, you can get a lot of support from the local populace.
Flake. All right. Sounds good. Flake. Fucking weirdos.
He goes, "Okay, you've got your missions. The ship can't go any closer until the wards are down, and it won't go any closer until that tower's on fire to let me know the wards are out of the way." So
the tower will be on fire. Don't you worry about that.
he says, "Hey, you have your missions. Get to it." And that is where we're going to end episode 27 of the Drunken Arcanauts Dycairn campaign. The party is just about to head into the coastal town of Salt Rain and help this enterprising privateer company solve some of the world's problems as far as the captain is concerned. Thank you for listening, and join us next time. Goodbye.
Bye.